very warm welcome to you indeed from Zhaoqing in the People's Republic of China and the FIG Artistic Gymnastics World Challenge Cup of 2019, the first World Challenge Cup event of the year, following hot on the heels of the World Cup events and the Olympic qualification competitions that some of you, I'm sure, will have been watching. And those of you who haven't, well, you picked a lovely time to start watching gymnastics this season, because the World Challenge Cups have expanded to 7 events this year. And this is the first of 3 of them this month. It's the first time we've ever had a World Challenge Cup competition in Zhaoqing. That's what we have coming up for you in this session of gymnastics action. 5 finals: the men's floor, women's vault, men's pommel horse, women's uneven bars and men's still rings competition. Wherever in the world you're watching from, it's a great pleasure to have your company. Ollie Hockben here, bringing you the action from Zhaoqing. And we'll begin with the men's floor competition.
Ladies and gentlemen, the men's floor final now starts.
And there, the competition floor, and there the start list. So all eyes on Deng Shudi, who goes 4th in the order, the top qualifier, and then we'll see straight after him 2 and 3 from qualification, Lee Seung-min and Shin Jae-hwan, both of the Republic of Korea. So right in the middle of the order, 4, 5 and 6, we're going to get those top 3 from qualification. So after 6 has gone, we'll have a pretty decent idea of how things are really shaping up. But it's worth keeping an eye on Lu Fei Sing of Malaysia, the 3rd to go. Team silver medalist in the Southeast Asian Games, and a good competitor on the floor. Doesn't have enormous difficulty compared to some of the other competitors, but what he has got is a rather crisp degree of execution. And that the age-old gymnastics trade-off, isn't it? The battle to get your level of difficulty right so that you're not giving too much for the judges to deduct. Exciting times for Team Malaysia. This is a team, many of the gymnasts you'll see today, that have really dominated at Southeast Asian Games level. And I'm sure some of you, if you're fans of things like the Commonwealth Games as well, you'll know a lot of the Malaysian, Singaporean gymnasts. It is one of the great joys of World Cup competition, the chance to see gymnasts that we don't see a huge amount over the course of the year. Case in point, a first ever World Cup event for the Democratic People's Republic of Korea's Ri Kwangbom, 6th strongest in qualification. Managed somehow to not go right face forward on that first tumbling pass. Did stick a leg out in quite a big way though. It's much more stable. A little slightly squat in the landing and a sideways, but he's growing in security with these tumbling sequences. Nice and rapid in the Russian vendor swing. And a position into handstand. Just maybe the tiniest little drag of the heels across the mat that slightly stalled his momentum. Small things, but the sort of things the judges look for. Again, he's just about managed to stabilise that dismount. Well, his execution was 7.45 in the qualification process. Certainly there were some reasonably clear opportunities for deductions, which I think he sort of knows facially. 22-year-old gymnast. Some decent elevation going into that first tumbling pass, but a little bit of a grapevine sidestep. He managed to just about stabilise and control. That was quite a bit more secure. His feet together, toes reasonably well pointed, going through into that next tumbling sequence. Just a little hop sideways, but not as drastic as some of the other errors. And that's something to look for there if you're new to gymnastics. The gymnast landing a little piked. That can make things difficult for them to stabilise. So we await the first score. And it will be Ri Kwangbom of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Good crowd in attendance for this World Challenge Cup competition. And they certainly enjoyed that first routine. 13.05. Lu Fei Sing of Malaysia, the fourth strongest qualifier. 21-year-old from Penang Island was a very impressive gymnast at the Youth Olympic Games in China. Starts with a little bit of power. Oh, he's just about kept that under control. Certainly attacking this floor routine. Lovely. Some good height in the tuck position. He's absolutely flying round in the Russians, but stabilised. Just a little reset going into that handstand, but lovely toe point. Rolled nicely and fluidly out of it as well. Just a little out breath as he moves into the final tumbling pass. Mustn't take too long to go into it. Excellent landing, great reaction from Lu Fei Sing. Well, many of you who are real fans of the Southeast Asian gymnastics scene will know him as a pommel horse specialist from the Southeast Asian Games in Kuala Lumpur. But he's also a very fine floor and horizontal bar athlete. And he's certainly laid down a decent challenge to impose himself upon the medals. It's only his second ever World Cup event. It was a big attack of the routine. That was the one where he was a little piked on the landing, slightly, sometimes gymnasts will say the ground met him rather than he met the ground, and so a slightly jarring connection. Better form there. Perhaps a little imprecision in the lower legs as he moved through that sequence, but that's the reaction you want to see, isn't it, from every gymnast? Whatever the score, when they come off the apparatus, to know they've left it all on the mat. Right, so the judges agree, 13.25. He's just down by a tenth from qualifying. It's the execution that's down by that score. Same difficulty. So currently Lu Fei Sing leads the way with Ri in second and Lim in third. But for how much longer? To Deng Shudi, the top qualifier from the People's Republic of China, with a 14.25. 27-year-old from Guizhou. And this is a complex routine. Oh, a real bit of quick thinking and muscle memory to stay in the competition floor. Struggled a little to control this routine in qualification, picked up 0.4 of penalty points. But with this sort of difficulty, it's rather inconsequential, it's a trifling matter. That's lovely height. That's a very good routine, and surely that will move reasonably comfortably into top position. Deng Shudi from the city of Guizhou, about 1,000 kilometers or so to the northwest. A distance that's practically nothing in the People's Republic of China. He's so well known as a great team member. Team bronze at the Olympic Games in Rio, twice a world team champion, including in Nanning in 2014. And a great competitor on the still rings too. The line is inbounds, so we're certainly determined to use every last millimetre of paint. And there too. Keeping an eye on the feet as he moves through the Russian to have clearance of the floor at all times. Certainly managed to get that nicely rotated round. It's only his third World Cup competition, his second final. How will it compare to the qualification score of 14.25 for Deng Shudi? 14.3. That will do very nicely indeed. Execution up, or rather execution down, but the penalties have disappeared by comparison. So Deng Shudi goes into first place, second is Lu Fei-Sing, third Ri Huangbom. So 13.05 is the bronze medal mark, but now we have the second and third highest qualifiers, one after t'other. We start with the Republic of Korea's Lee Seung-min, the 18-year-old from Seoul. Big hop back, but he stays comfortably within bounds. That was much more assured. Good amplitude. That's lovely, elegant form moving into the handstand. Just showed real control. Every tenth could be vital. You won't lose huge numbers of tenths on that dismount. There was a clear hop forwards. Competition is most certainly increasing in intensity as we now see that little cluster of the strongest from the qualification process. Senior international debut for Lee. Seeing quite a few gymnasts making senior international debuts. And some of those tumbling sequences, or some of the moments from that sequence, the amplitude not as strong as it was at other points in the routine. Hop back there. Again, he would, one suspects, have liked to have been a little higher as he was there. Lovely form in the twist, the legs together, feet clearly in contact with each other. And he looks pretty delighted. Nice to celebrate as well with Shin Jae-hwan, who's about to follow him. 13.65, so within touching distance of the qualification score, and second place now for Lee Seung-min. But Shin Jae-hwan within the realms of possibility of displacing one of these gymnasts. 13.45 was his qualification score, the third best. 21-year-old from Seoul in his fourth World Cup event of the season. Oh, it's a big, big attacking start. Full of gasps in the crowd there. Can he keep the control? much tentative. Striking that handstand rather in installments. Exciting young tumbler to watch in action, Shin Jae-hwan. And what was very pleasing to see, doubtless from the Korean coach's perspective, is that that became a more settled routine as he went on. Was 5th in the vault final in Melbourne, 8th in the vault final in Baku. That was his only World Cup final so far. This is first in the men's floor exercise. .13.4 the score for Shin Jae-hwan, and so that is good enough for 3rd position. So after qualification and after this point of the final, it's all the same. The top 3 qualifiers, Deng, Lee and Shin, are occupying the top 3 positions. Now we see a young gymnast, Genta Tsuyuki of Japan. Oh, just about managed to hold this position. Costly deductions, but good leg strength from the 18-year-old. Starting to settle, the teenager. Genta Tsuyuki of Japan, the 18-year-old from Kanagawa. Senior international debut. It's always an enormous moment for any Japanese gymnast when they get the chance to represent their country. Well, it is for any gymnast, isn't it? Any athlete. But the strength in depth of the Japanese team, both men's and women's artistic gymnastics, is so considerable. As we just look back at the moments from the first tumbling pass, and actually, although that doesn't make for the prettiest viewing on the replay, it's worth reflecting on the kind of strength you need to actually keep in a standing position, which is what Tsuyuki did. It was quickness of thought as well. Sometimes gymnasts can overcompensate when they make an error. And there are young gymnasts like Tsuyuki, who scores a 12.65, who'll be ready to come through and seize on any opportunities should they arise. Good competition, of course, breeds even greater competition. So we have one more competitor to go. It is Takuya Sakagibara, the 17-year-old from Aichi, representing Japan. He's a product of Sabai High School, like Kokoro Fukasawa, who we'll see a little bit later. Starts nice and securely. just lost his height a little in that tumbling pass, but the stability of landing. Seen huge numbers of gymnasts opt for the diagonal arm handstand. He might be the first actually we've seen doing it. Assured performance this from Sakagibara. Has got a competitive difficulty score. Well, we have an interesting weight on our hands here because Sakagibara was the 5th strongest in qualification, 13.35. Now at the moment it's a 13.4 that's holding on to the bronze medal position. And that is Shin Jae-hwan. Not out of the question for Sakagibara. He did compete on floor and vault at the Japanese National Championships last month. This was his senior debut in the competition. Some very nice technique. Does a lot of the fundamental things very well indeed. Deng and Lee have already secured medals. Sakagibara with a great score of 14. His difficulty up by 0.2, his execution to an 8.1. Deng Shudi has held on to take the gold medal in his home World Challenge Cup, but real pressure put on by Sakagibara. Right at the end, the 17-year-old taking the silver and Lee Sung-min securing the bronze. Couple of teenagers competing after the hugely experienced 27-year-old from Guizhou. And confirmation of Lee Sung-min's bronze medal. There, the winner of the men's floor exercise, Deng Shudi. He came in as the top qualifier, increased his performance, his score by just under a 10th, and that was enough. It was always going to be enough if he kept the penalties under control, and he certainly did that. So, therefore, the first gold medal of the first ever Zhaoqing World Challenge Cup, the FIG World Challenge Cup, goes to the host nation, and it goes to Deng Shudi. Just the start that the home fans would have wanted to see, and a really good competition showing us the depth of gymnastics coming through once again from Japan. So it is Lee Sung-min with the bronze medal, Takuya Sakagibara of Japan the silver. Final performance of the competition, but Deng Shudi of the People's Republic of China 14.3 to secure World Challenge Cup gold. A distinguished gymnast who's won his fair share of medals, including at the Olympic Games. A first World Challenge Cup medal for Deng Shudi. We'll leave you with some of the moments of this men's floor exercise before it's on to the women's vault competition in a few minutes.